And real quick, before I start this episode, I do want to say that this song does deal with relationships, and this might be a good episode for a lot of people, men, women, but non-binary, really anybody that has the idea of love or the idea of a relationship should be perfect, but also they understand that sometimes relationships are one-sided. I think this will be a good episode that you will enjoy. So I hope you enjoy the episode. Okay, so there's a lot of information I have to clear up before I start this. That Ella Mai, even though a lot of people believe she's American, she's not American. She's from the UK. I believe she is from the UK, and her name is Ella Mai, which I think isn't very shocking. There's not that much of a change in her name, depending on where you're hearing her music from. So she released a song recently, which I believe is a song that a lot of people need. Um, just because we're in the summer seasons where people are naturally becoming into their feelings. We have graduations coming, so her basically creating a song called Leave You Alone, which she did release recently. I think this is the best song for this kind of season, and that's what we get from Ella Mai. Normally, when she releases a song, we normally get it. Of course, there's not that much information on her relationship history. There's a few. There's some information of who Ella Mai has dated previously. However, there isn't a lot. And as you can see, this song is about a relationship that it has kind of turned bad, which I think has kind of turned bad, or it was just for the moment. So I think this was going to be fun to talk about because there isn't uh she's not like an artist that we have a lot of background of who she's dated, right? Like overall, I think people have assumed it's 3 people, and the only one that we know for sure is a guy that used to play for the Celtics. Now his name escapes me right now, but for sure that's who we know. Like that's confirmed. That's who we know she dated. So this should be an interesting person to talk about, but also we can. She expresses her emotions in a way which I think is a wonderful way to express it and just vent. But as I said, this is also a song that we talk about for like this kind of season. So we're gonna get really in all of that. Let's just see if we have a sponsor. Let's see if we have any sponsors real quick, and then we'll get right into the music of Ella Mai, "Leave You Alone," her single "Leave You Alone."
This episode is brought to you by Snapple. Welcome to the Snapple Market Auditory Experience. Close your eyes. Imagine you're walking into your neighborhood store. You make your way to the back and reach for your favorite Snapple flavor. You can't wait. You take a sip. Whoa, that's a lot of flavor. What flavor are you holding? Now open your eyes and check out Snapple.com to find ridiculously flavorful Snapple near you.
Okay, so with normal Ella Mai songs, we end up running to a lot of scenarios on like metaphorical but also romantic kind of situations or lyrics in the song. For example, she talks about I can't blame Cupid anymore, right? Because Cupid is like the way people find their love, like because Cupid is a symbol of people finding their love. He shoots you with an arrow, and like the idea at love at first sight. Like if I see somebody, I fall in love with them. That's the idea of Cupid. But she says in her song, I can't blame Cupid anymore. But every time we hang out, there's always. She says without clothes, but I'm gonna say interpreted as there's always another motive to why you call me, text me, why you want me to come over to see you or be around you. But I think this the way she phrases that is weird to me because she says that, but there have been a few she's a great storyteller. Like without a doubt, Ella Mai is a great storyteller, an R&B artist, a singer. Right? There have been a few situations where ladies have said stuff like this. And some guys have too, and non-binary. It's happened to a lot of people. Whether it's recently or in the past couple of years, where people have decided to do like friends with benefit flings. There's a lot of titles for basically what she's explaining in here, and she and it and it's so weird because people say that sometimes you won't find your first love or you won't find love, and sometimes people are in your life for seasons. And I think that's why this song fits so well with the season, because there especially there might be some college kids, um, but you've been with somebody for a couple years while you were at college. Nothing serious, but just to have company when you're bored or whatever. And that's a sad way to think about it. Or when high schoolers, when you're just bored at like just bored, or you want to be rebellious, just overall like certain things where you're like, hey, I'm gonna be with this person because so and so doesn't like him or so and so likes him. You want to be a little rebellious. We end up in situations where we're with we're with people for seasons. Which I think that is a weird concept to say in a song, but it comes off very genuine, right? Like this, that's what she says has never come off genuine. But as I said, we don't know that much about her personal life. We know 3 people for sure, but I think the only one that I think we know permanently is a guy from the Celtics. But beyond that, we don't know. There's not a lot of information we know about um, her relationship. So I think this is where she's writing it, but also expressing her own thoughts on either a relationship she was in or the one she got out. She says, "I keep falling for you. I keep falling in love with you. Um, however you keep however you keep making me act like a fool." And I think this, as I said, this concept of love is big with Ella Mai, right? There are a lot, and that's what I'm saying. So the relationship should be two-sided. The marriage should be two-sided. It shouldn't just be one-sided, which I think is a great way for Ella Mai to express herself, right? But there are very occurrences like this where the relationship is one-sided. Like it's only beneficial for one person, right? And I think that's what she's trying to persuade. But there's also people in your life for seasons. I think that's the bottom line of what she's trying to say. But she says, I always keep coming back to you like a fool because I keep thinking you're going to get better. Which sometimes you do, but not all the time. You don't stay better in the long run. But also, this could be for anybody's relationship, because relationships are hard. Relationships are easy if 2 people move it together, but it's extremely difficult if one person trying to move the whole relationship or make the relationship go forward, which I think is a hard thing for a lot of people to understand. But she says, "Don't look me in my eye," or "Don't look me in my eye." Don't look at me in my soul or my heart, because you're not gonna do right by it. Which I think is true. There are a lot of people that are that way. And she says, "I don't know if I'm with you for the pain or the pleasure." But that's what I said. Where a relationship can be one-sided, but it very, very, I don't want to say rarely, but every couple relationships, there are some people that deal with one-sided relationships where it's fully one-sided, where only one person is getting something out of the relationship and the other one's just being played like a pawn. And I think it's crazy because she's almost like you're the person's drug of choice because they just love being around you, but you're just abusing them. You don't really care. As long as they do the job for you, you don't really care, which is very dangerous. And I can't leave you alone because you're just so much like a drug to me. I can't leave you alone, which that is damage. That's the damaging mindset to have. if they're not doing right by you, you can leave them. Trust me. It might feel tough at times, but you can definitely get past that and build yourself back up together and work the thing out that you're having a problem with. But don't try to force a relationship on them because you know they haven't really shown any effort. Overall, I like the song. Out of 10, I'm still at 8.1. The song's a little short, but overall, I do like the song. I like the message of the song, and I hope no guys feel any type of way like, hey, he was trying. I'm not. But overall, I think this will probably be a good message for everybody here, kind of. To hear about love, what kind of story you need to hear.